Not to foresee now one person just cannot say, I review this constitution. This process has been called on for quite a long time. So Yankaba attempt for one with the Peter Tucker Commission. But by the time Peter Tucker did done, Dr. Anes by Kruma Bide. So a whole report, according to Ram, there was not much engagement or consultation. So you therefore put another committee, when I did Justice Kawa. They do fantastic job at this country. They will tell you say they receive over 150 position paper. The airtime number with they say over 20,000 hours. I mean, extensive engagement. They bring 138 recommendations. Out of 138 recommendations, the administration of Dr. Anes Bakroma take 38, put aside 100. All this they show say we have been committed to reforming this thing called the 1991 Constitution. When we don't come, we don't look at waiting Peter Tucker say, waiting the Justice Kawan committee say, and the recent things we don't happen at the country. We don't look at all APC, SLPP, they don't engage even on the electoral reform when they tripartite. So this was the time now for let them put an icing on the cake. For bring to an end, bring end to something we don't take over 20 years. So yesterday, we did expect, these people of this country, they expect say, yesterday, our lawmakers will conclusively now get this thing we then call a new progressive constitution where they guide Sierra Leone to the future.
All right, Minister, now we look at the day before or few days before the day before the Monday, where the lawmakers then go pass this bill, when the president in speech. You know, this to Sierra Leoneans, it was very unprecedented. President just talked to the whole nation on Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday again, it can address specifically on this constitutional amendment, making pointers for say, in don't suffer, in don't this, it make all then retrospect them. You know, if you say now a way it be one for push a member of parliament say, or push the honourable members then, or let them push for this bill where go favor in political party.
So let me argue this historical background, and he also did that. He looked at who saw don't come.
But was that really in place at that time, sir?
Yes.
It already talked to they come back for. Was it a campaign where we did for make?
Well, you can call it a campaign if you want. When he's appealing to the lawmakers that not to me they vote for, not to anybody they vote for. Vote for Sierra Leone. Vote your conscience. Vote what is good for this country. It can be a campaign, but it is a civic call that the nation, Salon Big Pass we all. The president acknowledges the sacrifices wherein a lot of other people don't make. We will see what happen during the war. And if the point by that constitution say it's self-responsible, and we don't make frantic effort for over 20 years as a people, how are we going to work on one document over 20 years? We're not going to end up. So all the reforms will not take place. All the historic things that Peter Tucker, Justice Kawan, and what we say can't do now. When they talk about electoral reform, we have the tripartite recommendation where they inform what will election for be. This is all what they put together now. But get this progressive document. The president don't want left on a partisan basis. You know, let you look at them from a regional basis. Take them as a national document. Read them, and when they read them, when they vote, say vote Sierra Leone. Not vote because a political party. Because it's what happens. Some MPs, not that what they do now, really waiting as a human being, as a person they want to. But they get pressure from political parties. They get pressure from other sources where they say, no, do I move? So the president, they appeal to with conscience. They appeal to them. that this is a national assignment. Let us collectively end this thing and have this document inform waiting will be future going forward.
All right, the program now come on. Sure, we just want me join inside the studio by with next studio guest, we now Thomas Dixon. Thomas Dixon, a journalist, head of Guild of Newspaper, now my boss with Sidoya. And also social commentator and political commentator. Today I follow Rob Motts for this constitutional review and the presidential speech. Speech where President make on Sunday, and then Monday we go see the voting take place. By the way, welcome to Echo Media.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Thomas, the bill will then pass. The member of parliament from the LCPP side, even from the Minister of Information, then consider and say a bipartisan bill. From your point of view as a journalist and a social commentator, both political and social, is this bill passed yesterday considered a bipartisan bill or a partisan bill?
Well, I'm waiting the Ministry of Information saying a bipartisan bill. You understand from their point of view that you have two members of the APC we refuse for walkout, and we from the initial point being support the bill. But who are these two members? These are two members who have rebelled against their own party. And these are, so in other words, they call them rebel MP. Rebelled against their party, and they not represent, like go say the representative voice of the APC. So logically, go see a bipartisan bill. Because these are people who, since this parliament opened in 2023, have always been supporting government. Their party boycotted governance, but they went to parliament. They sworn in and they started supporting government policies. If you follow parliamentary debate, where government they make reference to goodies to the opposition MPs, they only recognize those two. They only mention those tools. I remember the debate for the supplementary budget. A member of parliament rules that they've not been traveling with APC members of parliament. The majority leader only mentioned these two members of parliament, Alfred Thompson and Mohamed Bankura. So these, logically, you cannot refer to it as a bipartisan. Because they've always been members. They have always, it's like they are APC, but they are always supporting SLPP agenda in parliament. And we have 77K in the constitution. We say if a political party, an MP, they continuously they are against a member, the position of a party, the party go right to the parliament, or they remove them as member of parliament. But since the return to multi-party democracy, we don't get what you go call rebel members of parliament, when they rebel against their party. I can vividly tell you, say in 2007, we had honorable legacies of PMDC. And to the point that he was called the Bayai. He was always supporting him, to the point that also the leader of his party, Charles Magabi, writes to the Speaker of Parliament for removal, taking sit time. That he's no longer a member of the PMDC, but he continues for be member of Parliament. So not to Chile will don't get them. So then get right, the Ministry of Information get right because they are the government mouthpiece for say it's a bipartisan bill. But looking at it from a logical point of view and a realistic point of view, you won't consider that the passing of that bill as a bipartisan bill. And I think that that's been necessary for for pass a law, a constitution. Forget a constitution we very contentious. I'm not a lawyer. And I believe, say, in making a law we get for govern not just the present system, but the future systems we get for calm, we get for be careful, and we get for find a middle ground. I think they try to get a middle ground. They went to Toke, the two parties. And in the whole of all of this, we the people we are missing. the constitutional amendment issue has been there for a very long time, as rightly stated here. We get the Peter Tucker Review Commission. We get the Justice Cowan Review Commission. But let us not forget that Justice Cowan Review Commission is about 12 years. You know, it takes 10 years for even we Motaman will change position. It is from a psychological point of view, they will tell you, say, after every 10 years, you can be tired and want new things after a decade. So it's 12 years. And me and one was with me at that time when Justice Cowan came under the radar. I was one of the few people, journalists, who defended the work of Justice Cowan. And I see he did a brilliant work, consultation and all that. And the government then being reject in the white paper, they being reject about 80 to 90% of those recommendations. And this government in 2018, after they win 2018, by 2021, they then put out the white paper accepting about 80%
of the same one
of the same recommendation.
The one that was rejected.
The one that was rejected, which is their own right.
Okay.
And since then, Ujoyeri no more say they don't form a constitutional review without they not make enough consultation with people. And then we get this tripartite wake up. We also emphasize the point that we need for reviewing constitution. We can end up with this with little consultation. I will not say consultation was not done, but the consultation was very, 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 very little. With Mango say infinitesimal to the what you want for Brinkam. So for me, I think say we don't get missteps in the way in a short time. And the thing don't go, it don't reach to a point that the president be addressed we on Saturday. And the president he address, he tell we a starting position.
Mm-hmm.
Though the president, it was an ironical statement. The president say he wants for the members of parliament and take independent decision.
Correct.
But at the same time, the president was campaigning for PR. So even the president was not talking from an independent point of view. The president stated that at the end of the day, say vote salary. But he had a point. And at that point, say in party, they put out. The APC had a point. Mm-hmm. And at that point, say the party they put out. Me before now, I be a proponent, proponent of the proportional representation system. With all, if you look at the Justice Cowan report, the Justice Cowan report, it tell you the literature we recommend the PR system. They tell you see, they may get discussion among the 80 members about what type of electoral system should be used. That's the discussion they've been so lengthy. So they get one presentation from former PMDC, I think it was PMDC Publicity Secretary, or Elder, who was also a lecturer at Fabe College, and head of political science department. So was a political scientist, Dr. Abib Sisi. He made a presentation, a case for the PR system. The same case where they make for the PR system, for that statutory instrument for 2023 election. A similar case is Dr. Abib made. That will get smaller parties. That will get minority ethnic group them or representatives. That will get it will create a representation of the country. But when you compare the elections of 2018 and that of 2023, you see that we get less diverse parliaments. We get parliaments were only full of APC and SLPP. In 2018, we had 4 political parties in parliament. Under the first past the post system, we had the APC, we had the SLPP, we had the C4C, we had the NGC. We even have 3 independent candidates, MPs, which shows how diverse. The only time we don't get this kind of diverse parliament, and the time we use PR system in 1996. In 1996, when we used PR system, And the type of PR system we use, it was different from the type of PR system we use now in 2023.
What do you mean by that?
Yes,
Which one will be used?
We use a national. We take the whole country like one constituency in 1996. It was a national list and not a district block system.
So the 2023 now waiting.
The 2023 now a district block system.
Okay.
In 1996, we used a national list. One whole country was mapped out because of the war as one constituency. So seats were divided across districts equally. That's what they did.
Okay.
Seats were divided so that you national votes. Now they determine the number of seats where you could get as a political party. In 2002, we revert to the district block system. And because the SFP then knew that PR system was not in line with the 1991 constitution, President Kaba reintroduced the first past the post system with the 1991 constitution in 2007. We had the first past the post system. With APC, we get for win all the seats are West. Then we get for win most of the seats in the north. But the SFP they win a seat in Gambia, I could recall. They win a seat in Gambia. So you get forget the APC also will be win a seat in Moyamba. And then we win some seats in Akono. And the 8 seats Akono, I think they won, the APC won 2. The SLPP won 6. I think that was, I could not recall. But that was it in 2007. So it actually went after 2020 where we some of who think say, well, this PR system, all what thing not talk. Say they unite, we make people get diverse parliament. We not see them.
So it bring more division than
yes, it embolden entrench the division between and it creates majoritarianism. Because again, one reason for the PR system now for the majority party them, like the APC, SLPP, if smaller party they we're able for lobby them or support their views, their points of views. Mark, you are not to say the PR system is a bad system. There are better models of PR system. You have the mixed method PR system where they use like Germany, New Zealand, and Brazil. And when you want the PR system where we use as Sierra Leone, this PR system was a closed system. We don't know that in the political party they no more and the candidate. And I know who that the number 1, who that the number 2, who that the number 3.
So they say if you can suggest this PR system, especially this 2023, where you talk about how you been for intend or how you for been wish for letting one.
To be candid with the president, in one of his speeches, I think it was in Christmas, no, it was New Year, one of the New Year speeches. The president say, one of the speeches in Parliament, that they would think and come up with a model with suit me. A model with suit me. We've not done that. Nobody can tell me say this model I ain't go fit Sierra Leone diversity. I ain't go fit the culture of Sierra Leone. Nobody not ever done that. And also that a slap in the faces of maybe some we academic people within academia. Before do some research, we researchers. I think it was just IGR. We come up with the mixed method again. They suggested the mixed method. Then we use the mixed method. Where the mixed method, they give power to the party, but it's also they give power to the people. You have the list method also in Brazil. We are in they give power to the party go not select. They give the list, and they put the list out.
No, the people don't select.
The people. But the people let them vote for just the party. Then they vote for the people, just the party. Then they vote for the individual. So for example, if Minister Bawoy and I'm popular and Kenema, then they go put up because you get this bad that span this list. The chairman would I elect, or the secretary general would I elect, now I go put that the first 5. Then Mr. Bawoy popular, we say I go make people and vote for SLPP. And not like I put a number 8. But the people elect Mr. Bawoy. So when they go vote, and they vote for the SLPP. But also they vote for individuals in the list. And they vote for individuals. So if they vote for Mr. Bawoy, they number 10. And the last person, I get the highest vote. Automatically, Mr. Bawoy become number 1. If the number 1, I get the least vote, you go number 10.
All right, this thing, what do you make of the All People's Congress walking out for Parliament?
Well,
Was that a good idea?
These are strategies where opposition can use. This workout no starts today. You know, and you always say opposition gets them voice, get them say. The ruling party will always have their way. In cases like this, then we get contention at parliament. And the contention are that whether Section 108 suffice the situation, or whether they for use Section 91 when a simple majority. I'm not a lawyer, but when you look at Section 108, it's clear that members of parliament, two-thirds of members of parliament who are present, where even if they interpret in the interpretation of law, the first rule of interpreting law is called literary. What are the English language of the law? It did not say two-thirds of members of parliament, two-thirds of members in parliament. It said two-thirds of members of parliament. So when the speaker maybe expects yes, and when the speaker don't say, okay, we are going to go seek Supreme Court interpretation. We go say, okay, no, we're going to force law, we go seek in Supreme Court, let the Supreme Court make it clear. Because that's the function of the
So the word there is off. That's where the contention is.
Off. Two-thirds of members of parliament. Where to some people it suggests that two-thirds of all members of parliament. So some people to them, they're suggesting that two-thirds of members in parliament are the one that we present. We make quorum in parliament. So there is a contention. So the opposition, CC, with this contention, they will still go ahead. So they stage a walkout. There are three ways according to SO 41 when you vote at parliament. Either you vote yes in favor, you vote against, or by abstention. Abstention. A walkout is a form of abstention. I'm not going to partake. Sometimes you don't even walk out, you sit down, you not vote. And call your name, you should not vote. So these are serious issue. And if they say we review the constitution, we do alteration to the constitution, we have to be careful that we get some form of consensus. We have to have some form of consensus. There should not be grandstanding. It go reach to tell grandstanding go there in politics, but it go reach to tell all over the world. Party go giving, party go giving. Okay, they give this. You shall give this. That should have happened.
All right, Dixon. My council honorable member of parliament, honorable minister. Now, minister, you don't know waiting. Dixon don't say. When you look at the word where in say a very contentious right now, where they make the speaker don't talk say let them wait for the High Court's interpretation. I asked the question, was waiting the speaker say, is it the same as what Christian Atop said when I go police? But now, serious-minded individuals, they look at and say, now back talk, it give them. Well, let me ask the question now. This off, is it that the constitution was not highly interpreted? Now, the SFPP is looking at it. Say, they don't talk, say, now, simple majority. Section 91 talker. So the all people standing on section 1082B, where they say now 2/3 majority. What do you make of that? Two just opposing and just using one off.
All waiting, we want to talk about the process. So from all in analysis, don't distrust even the Justice Kawan. Recommendations, because according to that, they don't lapse over time. After 12 years, will be need for go to a whole review again.
I didn't say that. We need for some form of consultations. I didn't say we need for do a review again.
Consultation on what? Oh. Because this committee was put together because the previous administration feels that cannot do much. And by history, Justice can't do the most extensive consultations while only out beer. So yes, with time, and that is why I tell you, see, this review, what they do on the constitution, is demand driven. You know, of time now for us to conclude this thing. That is what is insinuating. That we don't take by this one great work. So when we come as an administration, and I've said here, not a constitutional review, all together we start. We just look at waiting don't they exist and look at the fine things we did it. Plus waiting we several can do in reforms, the Jury Act and other things. We'll put them together. SLPP, APC don't extensively look at all this process. Even the tripartite was not just a one-off thing, an extensive debate between SLPP and APC. This is all what is informing what we put into this constitution. That's the thing. Not to just 1 week is time, not to just, even though not just spend beaucoup money by this tripartite engagement when I the core thing. So all these recommendations, all these texts that we they inside this constitution, it's not new to anybody. Today we don't agree, I don't reach the last stage where the president take in time appeal to we national conscience that let even the lawmakers not left this thing again to the interpretation of the High Court. Because sometimes what you can give problem now one they bring out so. These things are drafted in such a way that small thing as a Supreme Court interpreter in his speech, it may be than then when they debate this thing, APC don't watch the whole thing in its entirety and say, I'm not partaking, I'm walking off. They have started the process. Then they look text by text, clause by clause. Waiting fits them. They vote on. Not to process we don't start. They're not going to want to parliament. They go walk off. They don't take this thing, they don't read them, they don't vote on clauses. And even this one, when I give and take, like 20% district representation, they go to the extent, they even say, okay, to them, the 20% per district will be very challenging. Let them reduce them to 15. SLPP said, no, maintain 20. And the PR system, what they use, the intention of it, from when we don't come 2023, the most aggressive things like this government will ever go through. What is it? We don't ever get an administration, we don't get more than 5 attempted coups. So imagine the 4 MPs there who don't lost a parliament. If we go back for do by elections, the tension, the loss of life over on the experience. You cannot get everything at a go. But what we have to appreciate in the 2023 PR system is all the tension we don't exist.
Appreciate something that others are not appreciative of.
So national level look at it. If we go to by elections, on the 4 MPs then, who don't lost the parliament, waiting for of course each party and waiting for of course the nation. What is there that you don't appreciate? And if you want to come at the national dialogue, I've been to money in the presentation, new. They say we can use a hybrid. So we are not saying in its entirety, PRs is 100% perfect. You understand? But the dream of the president is national cohesion.
If it is not 100% perfect, why
there's nothing 100%.
Why squeeze it on?
There is the PR self is in the constitution already. Like first past the post. Now, placement amount, which one the country for rely on. Not that we are bringing a new form of voting system. PR is part of. We have used both 6 voting periods. We don't use this 3. We don't use this 3.
You don't say we get a leadership style, right? Situation and leadership. So why this PR system as it is, we don't stay until finally when the situation arises, like 1996, they arise. That's why they arose. Sorry, that's why the PR was built. 2023 also there was just need that the PR right. So why now they can't put PR on top and let the first past the post Totally
at
off.
every time, it is use PRs at the discretion of somebody. PR is a fine process. That one, they reduce the burden on political parties and the nation. It will minimize conflict in the country or violence in the country. But we are using it only at the discretion. We don't want it to be discretionary. You understand? Let it now dictate how we vote. We vote, everybody go home. Nobody don't get for care for by election. We don't get for spend money for this thing. But that's not the process. That argument, we don't engage the secretariat, don't engage thoroughly, extensively on that until we had a national dialogue at Mitumani. What we are saying here, the process, if you don't want to partake, don't partake. But you're not going to go for just look at what thing you want.
Why would you say if you don't want to partake, let them not partake?
You don't start the process. You don't vote on clauses. The one way you can say you want. For instance, the nomination. Now this constitution is say the president of the right, or the president for choose a nomination committee where they bring to a list of candidates from which they pick a chief electoral commissioner. Then they debate on it. They partake in that debate because that has always been their position. Even for create a committee in a parliament, wait for them for supervise the chief electoral commissioner, which is against what they inside the provisions of the 1991 constitution. They voted on that because it has been their position. Even when the SFPP parliamentarians say we can have it this way, the committee is there. But let us go back to the laws of election. Let it determine what they say no, therefore pass on to it. So you are partaking with selfishness and sentiment. This one where they say proportional representation, PR system, is a position where they say of 50 plus 1 with a part of the 38 recommendations where they pick as an administration. Not just somebody they impose that on them. At a stage when you are in governance, you say, okay, this is good. The white paper where APC produced out of the recommendation of Justice Kawa, this PR system and the 50 plus 1, they did. The key issues or the debate, all these things in parliament is around PR system and 50%, which not to SFPP counter. So if you don't start the debate, and there's a difference between voting on a bill and voting on a clause. You understand? They don't sit on clause by clause when they vote. Simple majority. Simple majority. And like what you say, when the speaker said, the rest, if you get any problem, that's Supreme Court. That's just the order.
So now another question at all.
No, that's just the order. If you get any problem with the interpretation of the Constitution, the only side you go to the Supreme Court.
All right, so the program
now the Supreme Court.
The program now
just not due process.
All right, it's a due process according to what you say. Sierra Leoneans view it as a battle. The program now Echo Morning Show. We just will be joined by next studio guest, we now Honorable Alpha Khan. Honorable Alpha Khan.
From the English.
Okay, from the English.
From the English. To vote, you have to be present. If you not vote, if you're not present, how you go vote? So when they say 2/3 of members of parliament, now you are on the way there. If you're not there, you can't vote. The essence is to vote. Simple. So, but what we were forgetting here is that our parliament has a condition for the business of parliament to start or continue. It is called a quorum. The speaker will always ask, do we have a quorum? I was a member of parliament. And if we don't ask for quorum, parliament will not start. If we get quorum, parliament will start and we go do the business of parliament. And anything where we do inside in a law. And what is the quorum for this parliament of Sierra Leone? A quarter of the members of parliament. Only a quarter. And in the present parliament, not 33. So when 33 members of parliament then are parliament, anything they do there, you are bound by it. If you know did, it's a quorum. Even in clubs, even in corporate organizations, when you are holding a board meeting, they're meeting at the quorum. If the quorum not complete, the chairman cannot run the business. All those other things are really derivatives of that quorum. Did we have a quorum yesterday? We get a quorum. And what is the quorum for the Parliament of Sierra Leone presently? Now 33. And yesterday, in that parliament, there were 97 people, almost 3 times the quorum needed. So it's more than 2/3 majority, whatever you call it. Simple majority, 2/3 majority. That parliament was correct. They did the right thing according to the instructions of the standing orders of the Parliament of Sierra Leone.
If it is the right thing, why do they have to go now for Supreme Court interpretation?
Well, that is what is asked for when you are not satisfied with an interpretation. The only body, organ in Sierra Leone, we get right to interpret this constitution. When a parliament make up, not the Supreme Court. That is what is called the separation of powers. So you go there, if we have disputes among ourselves, go to the people who have read the law and who can interpret phrases and words and things like that. So the Supreme Court is the last final arbiter. That is why the speaker said yesterday, at the end of the day, if you're not satisfied with the interpretation, go to the Supreme Court. That is what you are supposed to do.
Honorable Alpha Kande, All People's Congress gets landed lawyers like JFK and others. If not, they say law gonna let them go now Supreme Court, or the law is the constitution they go now na Supreme Court. How soon you feel say this go take again? Not to another draw, and the processes we're engaged to that.
Not at
and
all.
Not go slow down.
Not at all. Not at all.
And how so?
The Supreme Court has an obligation to give priority to interpretations of the Constitution. To give priority. Remember, in 2023, when they may get issues with how to apply the PR system for 2023, it was taken to the Supreme Court for interpretation. And immediately the next day, they start on it. They will never delay as long as there has been a deposition. So if somebody go deposit, be it the speaker, be it the APC, anybody will send up. As long as it's a constitutional interpretation, they'll get priority.
All right, Honorable, let me ask you this question before I go to Thomas Dixon. Now, from the presidential point of view, people are looking at it that this whole thing, the digidanga, at the end of the day, so that the president will get 2 more years added to in term. From the presidential point of view, do you think that will happen?
Now, would I ask for me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought you were saying Dixon.
No, you. I said before I go to Thomas Dixon.
From
the presidential point of view, now that this constitution therefore go to the Supreme Court, and there are processes where they lead you into elections, and they might be slowing down. The census and all of that go slow down. Do you think that will add another 2-year term to President Bill?
Not at all. The elections are 2 years away. And the Supreme Court, I tell you, say they go deal with them as soon as they receive them. Definitely, it's not going to take them a year or 2 years to do that. No, I think you're taking it too far. This is just a conjecture, which maybe some people are just making assumptions. I have not heard, I have not seen it written anywhere. I don't see how that is even connected with the interpretation of the Constitution and all that.
We are looking at a delay, Honorable.
But you have
It's
not
not
been
about
there.
anything.
I've just given you an example, say, when we begin a problem with how it interprets the use of the PR in 2023, when the Nkerango Parliament, so when the Nkerango Supreme Court, it was started the first day, within 1 day, and within 1 week it's finished.
All right, Thomas. Now you don't hear read it to individuals then in the studio waiting. They don't say. When you look at this bill, now we dey go na Supreme Court. How soon you feel say it will come on a Supreme Court or let it turn into a law? Then we get census here waiting for us. Cartography, I think they don't just done about a lot of other things than they. How soon will this bill be passed and then we head into 2028? Sir?
First of all, the mandate of the Supreme Court for give clarity, interpretation to laws when they are protections.
Correct.
So they are the only body we mandated. Or even lawyers when they represent you, they will give their opinion. But the decision of the Supreme Court becomes law no matter when they pronounce it. This is not the first time parliamentary issues have been in the Supreme Court. And sometimes I mean, as somebody who is administrative law, there is a prominent APC versus Nasus, the Sherry Kamal and others versus the Speaker, where it was not a Supreme Court matter, it was an High Court matter, administration of Parliament, where the High Court will rule in their favor. At that time, that was a solid case. I don't know this APC is an administrative issue or is clearly interpretation of the law. But we'll wait and see what the Supreme Court will say. All over the world, the mandate of the Supreme Court for bringing clarity. Recently in the United States, the Supreme Court give clarity to back picking away them born in America. We Donald Trump see if you can born you in America, you don't for be citizen. Supreme Court make it clear. Say as long as you born in America, you are a citizen of the United States of America. You know, in Sierra Leone, we often get doubts, not just in Sierra Leone, in Africa. Some African countries they don't improve in doubt with Supreme Court because the Supreme Court always they rule in favor of the government in contentious issues. Although they see changes recently in Gambia, in the Supreme Court of Gambia on the sacking of the Auditor General of Gambia, rule in favor of the Auditor General. We don't see outside the Supreme Court of Malawi ordered the re-election. We don't see outside the Supreme Court of Ghana ordered, waiting tripartite ordered for reform, electoral reforms. So in Sierra Leone, the most contentious issue, political issue, we don't go to the Supreme Court, are the sacking of the vice president. And that interpretation will go down well, it not go down with most citizens of the state. We are not lawyers. The law mandates them for interpretation. Whatever interpretation they give is final. Now coming to the question about statistics. I think statistics is not a political tool, it's a developmental tool. Already, we don't lost 2 years for them to delineate the constituency.
All right.
So whether we have to have a PR system or first past the post system, it seemed to me that we are going to have a PR system anyway because there are no constituencies. As it is, we're not do boundary delimitation. We are going to have a PR system because we only get census in December. And when census they pull the results, it says 27, 2028, we have election, we each 2 years.
Exactly.
Already we don't get a situation with PR system don't become evident. So for me, the Honourable Alpha Khan was a member of Parliament. Don't talk about the quorum. But looking at it from a moral point of view, 33 members, let's assume, without considering that 33 members were in Parliament to decide on the constitution for the whole of this country.
8 million plus.
Yes. It wouldn't have been a good precedent. That's only 33 members. Not because of the quorum, because they meet the quorum and the business of the day at Parliament. Reasonably, somebody could say, why not defy it and get who all day at Parliament? You know, each party, they give them point on. And then they say, the law say, members of Parliament will present. Other people, they say, the law say, members of Parliament in totality, whether present or not. Me don't dinner, I don't also participate in board. I know say there are quorums, but there are certain decisions. I've been in the media reform coordinating group board. There are certain decisions we want for me as to the election of chairman of the executive director of the MRCG. We had members who were absent. We get the quorum. We will not take that decision because we get to seek the view before. So there are critical decisions we get for take, whether it's a board, it's a corporate institution, whether it's the state for do the life of people.
So we see the Honorable AKK being right now in Facebook page say two members of parliament from the All People's Congress then sick. Three of them sick. What did they mean for them? Was it a slap on their face?
I think they need to come out with clarity on that. You know the Auditor General matter they go parliament. Apart from naturally the ruling party not get 2/3 majority in a parliament as it is. But you get two APC MPs then where they are referred to as rebel MPs. They defected. They always support government views. With that, the SNPP also need 2 extra members. And on the Telopias issue, they not only get 2, they get 3. Are these the same people? APC be doing internal investigation. Are these the same people where they, I can see me saying they from sick, but you from well. You understand? So are these the same people? Are these the same people? So the APC get to out clarity on that, whether genuinely they were sick. Because my understanding is that a paramount chief was sick. They go parliament yesterday, where it was critically ill. Wheelchair I go with that parliament. So this is a serious matter. You can be sick, it depends on how sick you are. It's a serious state matter. I think APC need for come with some form of clarity and tell me.
And the 3 names they need for be.
Well, maybe for their own protection. You know, with politics very toxic on both sides. And this, as I say, you are not able to they take a position strongly. Grandstanding. So for me, I think this toxic politics, and especially we yourself, the people can sometimes put the politician in put pressure upon them. You know, then go talk the 2 parties. Then go talk, they agree. But when they come out talk, they disagree. Why do you think that happened? Because pressure from the party, pressure from the people. Yeah, we in this part of the world, we always the suspect to politicians. They don't give the leadership, or we not trust them. See the president and opposition member, they meet. It's where you go here next. Conjectures, they don't bribe back. We see them call us so. The president don't go get something.
You see them they dance and say they don't sell game.
They don't sell game. So these are all, when these are in the portray, in other parts of the world, they portray national unity. Democracy, as I always say, it demands for diversity. This division, not just division in democratic terms, in diversity. Different views. Democratic in a political marketplace where the people then go buy. You market good. You people then go buy. You market not good, and the people then go buy. So for me, I think say we the wait whether or not the speaker therefore deposed to the affidavit, the Supreme Court, or not the APC therefore deposed to the affidavit, or the APC go say, okay, we are going to continue our whole game. We are not going to participate in government until election. We don't know where the situation.
And if that happens, don't you think that's dangerous?
We are going back to a gridlock situation. We're going back to a gridlock situation. We already see some measures that the president take of it for development. And right now, the one day, you need more of private sector investment. So if you get that kind of political situation, if you look at the recent IMF statements of July 10, they mentioned the 2028 election as a high political risk. An investor going to get that day and waiting to see happen so. If it continue, an investor no can put him on. They will get more young people who could be unemployed.
All right, Honorable, you don't hear me waiting. Dixon don't say. When you look at the